Welcome back, guys. We are finally back working on the big yellow tonner.
Why are you going to do me like that?
So it's been a few weeks actually since we finished getting this motor together. Well, this engine for all of you semantic Sams out there.
It's the same thing. Tell them then. Educate them.
Now there's going to be someone in the comments that's like,
they're going to be different. They're not. Look at the history of the definition of both of them. They have now merged into one and come at me about it.
So anyway, this weekend we have set aside a weekend just for us, which is rare, but we're doing it, and we're going to get this freaking yellow thing underway. Like, more underway than it is now, and closer to being finished than it is now. So anyway, first thing we're doing is actually changing the sump out. A bit more onsong performance happening. So you guys would remember when we bolted this bitzer together, we used this Gen 4 truck sump, which is a rear mount sump. Now this sump does work with H series. It does fit, however, they're very, very deep. And at the time we weren't too fussed because we were trying to really save money. But you will probably notice, if you haven't noticed already, you'll see it today, but the yellow tonner is actually quite a low car. These actually sit like a good inch below the level of the bottom of the cross member, which means they're very, very exposed and open and being cast. It's very risky. So because the yellow tonner is something that we plan on doing quite big drives in, you know, we live quite a long way from anywhere we have to get any machining work or anything done. So it will be getting driven quite a long way. It's not only that, but the roads out here where we are, I don't know about the rest of Australia, but the roads in Queensland here are absolutely atrocious. Don't know where LA Rego money's going, but the roads here are horrific. And the yellow tonner is quite a low car. So that's a really bad combination of things to have that low of a sump in. So we decided instead of risking it, we just pay the extra money to get the right sump that's going to work better and be safer for this engine. So we ordered that. That's here now. Rex is just swapping them over now. After that, this thing will be ready to go in. Yeah, the aim of this weekend is to have engine, gearbox, cross member, tail shaft, converter, you know, all in the car, ready to go. And then after that, we can start ticking along with our exhaust system and turbo system and intake and everything else that we got to do, and the wiring as well, and the wiring too. So this one being our own project, our own build, we'll be doing the wiring for this one. I'll be using the engine loom that I pulled out of the Tiger Marker SS for my drift car. It's another one of those things. We're using all of the things we've already got at the moment to try and get this done for cheap as soon as possible. And when it comes time to finish those other cars that we stole all them parts from, we can just get more then. But for now, that's the loom we'll be using. So it was a Tiger Marker VT2 SS. So being VT2, it had no traction control. So we don't have a throttle relaxer, none of that crap. And it was also manual, so we don't have to worry about box loom or anything like that being T400. So it's the ideal loom to use in this situation anyway. So just playing some car shuffle at the moment. Shuffle around some cars so we can get the tonner in here. Oh, let's go. Let's go. Let's get it.
Takes a while, but it always starts.
Tearing away. So I'm not sure if I've mentioned it in any of the previous episodes, but we have actually run this up on the dyno fairly recently when we moved it from where it used to sit down the other side of the shed, and it made like 92 horsepower at the wheels or something, which is not bad for the old tired 202. I suppose it's probably not really that tired. It probably needs some attention, to be honest. Should get a rebuild. It goes along. Leaks a lot of oil too.
Oh, so long, old friend. You have served us well. And as far as 202s go, well, you are one.
Transferred, is it?
Yeah. You should have seen the pool that was under it after I dynoed it. It was bad.
Where are we gonna put this thing?
I don't know.
So yeah, with the factory GM truck sump, the bottom of the sump would have sat like down here, which is, you know, just not ideal. You probably can't see much there because of that light.
Look at all this space.
About down here would have sat, which, you know, it'd suck. It's so unprotected, so that new sump's gonna do much better. It's the big old girl.
Look at all this space for turbo.
Big old turbo room.
Big old turbo space.
Heaps of space.
So even like looking at the VY, if I want to try and hide this turbo, we're gonna have to make like a bit of a, almost like a box so that you can't see it so easily from outside.
Why did we want to hide it?
So that it's in full stealth mode.
Because you're not going to be able to hear it.
Not when it's just parked up or when you're just cruising along. Talking about a certain group of people that might be upset if they discovered it.
Who's that certain group of people?
I'm not going to name names, but I think we all know who I'm talking about. They drive around in brightly coloured cars with lights on them.
Ah, the
Gas. This exhaust used to give me no end of trouble, as you can see where it was forever rubbing on the tail shaft there. I had to remake this bracket and all sorts of nonsense.
And we'll see how the old Differuni holds up, eh?
Yeah, gonna have to. I still haven't decided what to do with it yet.
Mate. Who put those there?
Yeah, I don't know.
Who put those in there?
Fuck. Illegal! And gay.
Yeah, disgusting.
That'll be right. Wheel hop's good for diffs. They were fine when it had 90 horsepower, alright? Turboed LS and it's going to have like at least 150. Maybe they won't be that.
You're going to be twisting that snout up, your pinion angles are going to be screwed on
Yeah,
down,
it'll be like... Sorry, no. The other way.
Yeah, that's more like it.
Twist that way,
Idiot. Are you tired of looking like an idiot, always getting it wrong, wearing the same old boring shirts? You need our latest boostgumps merch, designed by the best in the business. Get yours today. Unleash the super mechanic within. Oh, goodness, that's disgusting.
Oh, Jack.
Rusty water.
Oh, Jack.
Rusty water like morning brown.
The old rusty water.
Rustier than morning brown. Huh? Speedy boy. I don't know, we're just discussing, we haven't even thought about brakes yet. We're gonna have to do something, because these brakes are notoriously bad.
Oh, these ones are absolutely rooted. The master cylinder's leaking into the booster. Like, they were failing. The last time I drove this out here, it was definitely the end of its... the last drive it was.
So I suppose we'll try and get a crossover up just behind the engine after we come down off the extractors on the LS. Run a single back to our Spooty boy.
Yes.
And then intake over the top, down and then up this end probably. Or it might be the other way around, whichever way works. But
I was going to put the exhaust that side.
This side?
Do the normal crossover. Whether we cross it over behind the sump or if it's easy to come back here, we'll just see once the box and motor are in.
Where is our Turbo 400 cross member and our tail shaft and stuff?
All of that stuff is on top of the shaft there.
Oh, cool.
The tail shaft is, there's the tail shaft, but the cross member, we might have to go searching for the cross member. Oh no.
So I'm sure a lot of you are wondering at the moment, while we're sort of been working on this a lot more and you haven't seen much of the VS, it essentially just comes down to priorities. We really need a ute ASAP, so trying to get this done. Also want to get the VS done, but need to spend some more money to get it sorted, which we will get to when we have time, but for now, this is the spare time priority. Oh, that needs some sorting out, but yeah, that's why. You haven't seen the VS in a little bit.
I ain't seen it in a minute.
Might need some attention, eh?
Yeah, it's a bit concerning. That's a later on problem.
Oh, it needs a locker anyway, so.
Yeah, I was going to do a CIG locker, but we might have to just do it properly.
So, big old job getting this loom disconnected from the engine.
Takes like an hour.
Mind you, the last time this thing went in here,
For fuck's sake.
we were crawling around on the floor because we didn't have a hoist. That's how bloody long ago it was.
Stuff it. That'll do.
Oh, my Good. What? Did you just drop the whole cross member?
No, it's just got to come forward before it drops off. Go for your life. There's got to be some oil coming out of it. Even if it did move forward, it'd just go under the balancer. So. Righto, come back.
Boom. Big long boy.
Good thing about the LS swap is that the 6-cylinder springs that are in the front there will be just fine.
They'll probably still be too light. So the other good thing about having bought this sump and not trying to use the other one is that we now have a dipstick. We don't have to try and find one. Because the sump came with one. Yay!
I had already found one. Like
oh, had you?
But yeah, that's why I had that one. I've got the tube, I just needed a dipstick.
Gotcha.
That one will work, so I'll leave that with that sump.
Yep.
But yeah, we already have a dipstick. Everything.
Got a new one. So
it's a new winch tray, new pickup.
And Rex has just pulled the sump off because we've got to put our oil return from the turbo in.
Pretty much.
Make sure that's in there.
Right there. Nice. Look at that. There's even a nice
flat
spot, and it's like it was made for it.
They were thinking about you when they did that.
Got this bad boy.
Is it 10 or a 12?
10.
10? Yep. Had to go for a hunt for the Holden stuff. Found ourselves Turbo 400 cross member.
Just have to straighten up.
A little bit of straightening it out. Here is a tail shaft ready to go. As you can see, she's quite girthy. Used to be in this same car back when it had Dad's 454 in it.
Yep, that's how long we've been using Farrows.
Yeah, Farrows all the way back then. So, give this yoke just a bit of a clean up, it's 1200. But yeah, obviously fits Turbo 400 in this car because it used to be in this car. Now just get a bit of lube happening and give me shaft a bit of a polish. There we go, polished up. Rick's about to weld this up. Drill a hole in the brand new sump. Yeah.
Doesn't look too bad. Getting better. Getting better every time.
As we expected, it will move along pretty quick with the old H series. Got our flex plate sorted, a little ring to adapt to the torque converter. Let's get it. F's in the chat.
Got to come back.
Yeah, so
About 2 inches of stuff there. Right.
oh, what a sight. I can't tell you how nice it is to see this old girl finally getting some attention after all these years. We're excited for this thing, so now that it's in there, we're going to have a quick look at what headers we can fit. As you guys know from previous episodes, we did have this idea of using these HSV headers.
I think they're HSV headers.
I'm pretty sure they are. So the plan was to use these just because they flow fairly well, they're easy to work with, and being turboed, you know. But
no.
It was always going to be a big question of whether they'd fit. Unfortunately,
no,
being...
they don't. They're hitting that...
They're hitting it?
Yeah, that lower control arm mount.
Yeah, that's all right. Well, then we might just have to use like later cast headers off a BE, which don't float quite as well, but it's not that big of a deal. We're not, you know, trying to squeeze every last horsepower out of this thing. It's really just pretty much a meme of a throw together engine. So even this sump's still not ideal. It's still going to be fairly exposed. It'll come up a little bit when the box goes in, but we're still going to have to make some sort of bash plate or guard for it for sure. But still a lot better than the other one would have been. So we'll get rid of this trimatic cross member. Get out! Alright, gearbox about to go in. Cross member's straightened. Rex did some straightening. Not bad. So we've just realised we don't actually have a gearbox mount. We do have some somewhere, but we can't find it, so we'll have to just buy one. But either way, we'll chuck the box in. We can still just put the cross member in and just sit it on it and shove the mount in later. Alrighty. red diamond converter.
Beautiful diamond. Fucking good as new, mate.
Like a bought one.
Why would you buy a new one?
Look at that.
Yeah, that's sitting on the fucking sump.
Alright, so I'm going to try and space this up just a little bit just to get it off the cross member. See how that goes. It's going to be the first attempt. Hopefully that works out. Alright, so that's done the trick. Sump's off the cross member now, so crisis averted. Alright, so probably hard to see on camera, but we do have a small amount of clearance there now. There's a...
Yeah, that's much better.
Alright guys, so now that that is spaced and our gearbox is just sitting on the cross member, we've just got to stick on a piece of wood for now until we get an actual gearbox mount. But now that that's going on, we're going to try these headers again and see if they work a bit better now. Oh.
Nah, no joystick.
No good.
Right there.
Yeah. Not good enough.
See it in the light.
They do not clear, they cannot be used.
Oh,
Damn.
Casties it is.
That's alright. Alright, so VE cast manis, which are probably arguably the most block huggerish of all of them. And they look like they're going to fit fine.
Yeah, they should have no problems at all.
So that'll do.
Boom.
Yeah, that's going to be fun.
Similar issue, but I don't think it's going to be that bad.
Yeah, make it work.
They're only like, what do we go out of there? Like 2 1/4, maybe 2 1/2. I reckon we can get the angle out of it that it'll be fine.
Oh, we'll see how we go, but even if we have to cut the flanges off them and re-angle and do some stuff, we can do that as well. Anyway, we'll just see how they go. Looking good, but all in a day's work.
I am tempted to cut them off and just put V-bands on.
Yep.
Have a look at underneath, see what
sort of angle we got.
You alright? This one. It is tighter, but you could get away with it.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll make it work one way or another.
I reckon we'll just leave these and we'll just try and angle it if we have to. We'll just flatten it and bash it just to get clearance, and I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, it's only for a turbo setup.
Yeah,
right.
exactly. As long as they seal, as long as we can get them to seal, we should be fine.
This one might be a bit of a challenge because we'll have the starter here as well, so we'll have to see how that, I suppose, no. Yeah, so starter will sit somewhere about there, so that it's going to be a bit of a challenge. Alright, looking good.
Turbo pipe work and the intercooler stuff under the tray, we run up the front and have like a normal airbox here. That's just fake. And the turbo pipe work will come up through it and then come out of the airbox and around to the throttle body. So that it just looks like it's a normal, just an airbox, and that's why it's cool we're actually using the cast manifolds, because even they look stock. So it just looks like someone's taken just a stock LS1 and just
full retrofit.
Put it in here, just retrofitted a nice stock LS1.
That's sneaky.
But then out the back it'll be like
So try to be airbox, but just because of where the outlet is, it's not the right shape. It doesn't work. So definitely going to need an earlier Commodore airbox. We're going to grab one of them and see how it fits now. So here's a regular earlier Commodore one. It's a bit better shape. That should suit quite a bit nicer. So righto guys, back here this morning. You saw yesterday. We got this thing pretty mounted up. We did get the Commodore airbox. It's up in there, but I can't show you now. But I'll show you when it comes down, but it's going to work pretty well, especially, you know, we can afford to cut out most of the bottom of the airbox because we're not actually using it as such. So we can make it fit where we want to by just shaping it to fit there. And no one should ever be any of the wiser to what it's doing. So now that we've got box and engine in, we're not going to rush in getting this tail shaft in just because of the fact we still don't have a box mount. So, you know, there's not really any massive advantage into getting the tail shaft mounted now because it's going to be in the way of everything we want to do under the tray, and we don't know if we might have to take it back out to actually get the gearbox mount in the way we've got it done. Rex has decided to go on with today, trying to make a mount for the turbo. So
yeah, maybe try and get a bit of the fuel system sorted out too.
yeah. If you remember, in the Silvia, we were going to use the surge tank that came out of V80, which is one that's designed to mount upside down, and we were going to try and mount it to the parcel shelf or do something in the Silvia to make it work, but it'd suit something like this far better anyway, because we can actually mount it the way it's meant to be mounted. Underneath the tray here, it'll fit nicely to be out of the way, and then we've got a hanger for a pump, and then when it comes to doing the Silvia, we can do a better fuel system that's more suited to the Silvia boot. So it all makes sense. Anyway guys, today's Sunday and I've got a few things that I've been tasked with. The missus has given me some chores. So I'm going to leave Rex pretty much to sort this out while I do a few other things. I'm just going to keep sort of checking in when I come back and going through what's going on with it.
You're going to leave me unsupervised. Unreal.
Yeah, don't do anything I wouldn't do.
Joyces.
Woo-hoo! Up the turbo. Turbo! So that's how it's going to get mounted. So back this afternoon, Rex has finished making up these brackets for the surge tank, which mounts to across the chassis rails underneath the tray, which mount the surge tank up to them. And he's finished up the mounting bracket for the turbo and been painted. So
it's got a little bit of give in it, but it should be alright.
What we decided to do with this was actually mount it off one of the water feed ports on the turbo housing, because it's back here. We're not going to be using water. For anyone who doesn't already know, the main purpose of the water in your housing and your core is to stop your oil caking when it's hot. So when your engine's hot and you turn it off, a lot of that water continues to circulate because it's warm, and it draws a lot of the heat out of the housing to stop the oil from caking that's in the housing. But if you allow proper cool down of your core, proper idle down, proper cool down, it's not that necessary as long as you're aware of it and careful of it. So being that it's back here, we're definitely not going to bother with it. These are just a metric thread, so it made the most sense to use it. It's just a metric thread, which makes it real easy to get bolts for and stuff, and just made sense to mount it because it's not going to really be in the way of anything by mounting it off the water port, and it's nice and well mounted on the actual turbo core instead of just mounting the housing. So I think it's a pretty good way to do it.
Yeah, I'm happy with it.
And yeah, the surge tank mount's just up there. I'll show you that in just a minute. So we've been stealing the fuel system out of this thing. So as you can see, most of it's now gone in the shed being used for the tonner. So if you're new here, this is the S13 that we started building for Rex for his drift car. Is getting just a pretty angry aspirated LS manual. Same with the 31 behind it, which is my drift car. These are our drift cars that we're building. However, due to priorities, both with finances and time, they are just continuously getting put on the back burner for now. But hey, we promise one day we will finish them and get back to actually driving. So having just quite a bit more of a look over this diff, it definitely needs some work. You saw all the lash in it, but even just, you can see how that's weeping over there. Like the seal is pretty gone. So this whole diff definitely just needs some love and care and attention. If it's lucky, it'll get some. So this is the surge tank I was talking about that actually is designed to hang upside down, which again we'll show you very soon in a minute.
Yeah.
So yeah, thinking the intake should come up this side, and we'll probably have the crossover for this, I reckon, directly here between the gearbox and the engine is going to be the best place to run that straight down around there. And then have the intake come up here and just put it just up inside that chassis rail, and then to the left just before that exhaust, just to clear it, probably through the inner guard. We'll probably do a lot of people doing these things and actually run the intake just on this side of the inner guard across there, and then you can go into the airbox up there, and then the rest is obviously above there. But I think it's the only way we're really going to keep it hidden, but also keep it out of harm's way, because then the other option is to either go through the engine bay, which is then not hidden, or come underneath between under the cross member, which is just not a very safe place for it. So anyway, there's a few options with the intake pipe work. We're just gonna have to see what's gonna fit and work best when it comes time to it. Much like a lot of other things on this car, a lot of it's sort of just getting winged.
Yeah, oh, well,
wing it all.
That's what we do. Improvise, adapt, overcome.
MacGyver it. That is cool. It's cool to see this turbo in it. Yeehaw.
So excited. Fuck keen!
How excited are you, Rex?
Fuck keen!
That is the surge tank setup, and that's how the brackets all work and all the bracketry is, and that is how it goes. So nice and tucked up away up there. Should never really be contacted by anything. It's very protected. Should be awesome. Should be really good. So bloody perfect. And then we've still got all of this room over this side for everything else we've got to fit under here. But anyway, I think that's probably about enough for an episode. Been a fair bit done this weekend, which has been really nice. Nice to finally actually get some progress happening on this thing and see it sort of starting to come together. Still a lot of work to go, obviously. Getting the motor and box in is the easy part. The hard part's going to be all this fabrication, all the wiring. Fuel system shouldn't be too big of a deal, but still certainly plenty to go. But we're excited nonetheless. Keen to have an actual shop ute and something we can actually tie stuff down on, and obviously something we can still go and have a heap of fun in. So thanks for watching as always. Don't forget to go get yourself some merch or some parts. Go into the draw to win yourself a pouch and digital dash. Winner will be drawn on the 8th of August. Thanks for watching, guys. Peace out. We'll see you on the next one. See you, bye.